Have you ever heard of a place that simply vanished overnight? Not a single person, not a single building, just gone, as it's swallowed by dirt itself. Today, we're diving into one of the most chilling and baffling mysteries in history, the disappearance of Hoer Verde, the village that vanished before sunrise. Our story begins in the remote highlands of Brazil, back in 1923. Hoer Verde was a small, bustling settlement of about 600 people. It wasn't a ghost town, it was a thriving community with a school, a church, and families who had lived there for generations. They were known for their resilience and tight-knit bonds, living a simple life far from the clamor of the big cities. Then, on the morning of February 5, 1923, everything changed. A group of travelers, making their way to a neighboring town, decided to stop in Hoer Verde for supplies. They'd been there just a week before and remembered the lively streets and friendly faces. But as they approached, an eerie silence hung in the air. The usual morning sounds of roosters crowing and children playing were gone. When they arrived, their blood ran cold. Hoer Verde was empty. Not just empty of people, but empty of everything. The houses, the church, the school, all of it had vanished. Where a bustling village once stood, there was only flattened earth, as if a giant hand had wiped it clean from the map. There were no signs of a struggle, no debris, no footprints leading away. It was as if the 600 souls and their entire home had never existed. The travelers, terrified and confused, rushed to the nearest town to report what they'd seen. The authorities were skeptical, of course. How could a whole village just disappear? They organized a search party, expecting to find a simple explanation. Maybe the travelers got lost, or perhaps the villagers had evacuated due to some unforeseen threat. But when the search party arrived, they confirmed the horrifying truth. Hoer Verde was gone. They scoured the area for days, then weeks. They found nothing. No bodies, no personal belongings, not even a single nail or piece of wood. The only piece of evidence left behind was a single, cryptic clue. On the ground where the church bell tower should have been, they found a recently fired rifle. And next to it, a small blackboard with a chilling message scrawled in chalk: "There is no salvation." This single, terrifying message only deepened the mystery. Who wrote it? Was it a warning, a confession, or something else entirely? The rifle was examined, but it offered no leads. It was a common model from the era, with no distinguishing marks. The investigation hit a dead end almost as soon as it began. The Brazilian government, overwhelmed and without any logical explanation, eventually sealed the records, and the story of Hoer Verde slowly faded from public memory, becoming little more than a whisper in local folklore. So, what happened to the 600 residents of Hoer Verde? Over the years, countless theories have emerged, each more bizarre than the last. Let's explore some of the most prominent ones. One of the earliest theories was a massive, localized landslide or earthquake. Could the entire village have been swallowed by the earth? Geologists studied the area extensively, but they found no evidence of recent seismic activity or geological instability that could cause such a precise and complete disappearance. The ground was stable, with no chasms or sinkholes. Plus, a landslide would have left a massive trail of debris, which was completely absent. Another popular theory points to a mass abduction. But by whom? And how? The idea of a rival group or a secret organization kidnapping 600 people without leaving a single trace seems practically impossible, especially in 1923. It would have required a level of logistical coordination and stealth that defies belief. There were no ransom notes, no demands, and no one ever claimed responsibility. The villagers simply vanished. This is where the theories take a turn into the truly extraordinary. Given the lack of any conventional explanation, many have turned to the paranormal and the extraterrestrial. The idea of a mass alien abduction has been a persistent theory for decades. Proponents of this idea suggest that a UFO could have lifted the entire village, or teleported its inhabitants, into space. They point to the clean slate left behind, no debris, no struggle, as evidence of advanced technology far beyond human capabilities. The message "there is no salvation" could be interpreted as a final, desperate cry from someone who knew what was coming. Was it a warning against an unstoppable force from the stars? Then there's the interdimensional slip theory. This idea suggests that the village of Hoer Verde didn't get moved, but rather it phased out of our reality and into another dimension. Imagine a glitch in the fabric of space-time, a momentary rift that swallowed the entire area. This would explain why nothing was left behind the village and its people didn't go anywhere in our world. They simply ceased to exist within it. It's a concept straight out of science fiction, but in a case with no logical answers, even the most fantastic ideas get a hearing. Some local legends offer a more spiritual or supernatural explanation. One story tells of a mysterious preacher who visited Hoer Verde in the weeks leading up to the disappearance. He supposedly warned the villagers that they were living in sin and that a great judgment was coming. According to the legend, he offered them a chance at salvation, but they laughed him off. Could the message "there is no salvation" be the preacher's final, damning verdict? Did he have some unholy power to make good on his threat? Or was he just a convenient scapegoat for an unexplainable event? Let's circle back to that single piece of physical evidence, the rifle and the blackboard. The message, "there is no salvation," is undeniably ominous. It could imply a mass suicide pact, but that doesn't explain where the bodies or the buildings went. It could be a message from a perpetrator, a taunt left behind after committing an impossible crime. Or perhaps it was written by the last person in the village, a witness to the horror, who chose to leave a final, cryptic testament before they too were taken. The recently fired rifle adds another layer of mystery. Was it used in an act of defiance? A final, futile shot against an overwhelming force? Or something else entirely? We may never know. For nearly a century, the mystery of Hoer Verde has endured. It's a story that challenges our understanding of the world. It forces us to confront the possibility that there are forces at play we cannot comprehend. The official records remain sealed, and the site itself is now just an indistinguishable patch of the Brazilian highlands, reclaimed by nature. There are no markers, no memorials, only the ghost of a story whispered on the wind. What do you think happened to the village of Hoer Verde? Was it a natural disaster of an unknown kind, a meticulously planned crime, or something from beyond our world? This is one of those mysteries where your guess is as good as anyone's, because the truth, it seems, disappeared along with the village. The story serves as a chilling reminder that some questions might never have answers, and that the world is still full of profound and unsettling mysteries. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the unknown. If you have your own theory about Hoer Verde, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to read what you think. And if you enjoyed this dive into the unexplained, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more mysteries that will keep you up at night. Until next time, stay curious.